Man, what's up, guys? What's up? Ain't nobody here? Oh, what a week, man. What a week. It's only Tuesday, and we're already having Hell Week here at the Funky Farm. What's up? What did we say tonight was about? Let me go look. Make sure. Yeah. Yeah. We got um we're breaking up. What up, my people, Joe Denny? What up? Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all day, every day. I appreciate you putting what you're doing up on the thing. Eddie, what's going on? Uh Man, howdy, howdy. We got a group in here tonight. Michelle, still waiting. Still waiting for that McDonald burger. Yes, they're about this big around. It's about that big. They look like a slider. Um, what I was going to talk about tonight was getting ready to get hitched Saturday. Well, congratulations, man. I think that's. Are you getting hitched up to a trailer? You getting hitched up to a young lady? What you doing? I mean, just go ahead and spill it. What you doing? I was listening this morning to a friend of mine, Todd Allen. What up, man? I was listening this morning to a friend of mine. He makes a lot of videos, and keeping my head down and my work done. Well, good. That's a good thing. He was talking about how everything had changed, and he just Graham, thanks for lunch. Now, thank you. I love it when you stop by. Deb Dingo's been over here. I love it when our friends stop by and family stops by, hangs out for even if it's just for a couple hours. Go eat lunch or something, and we get to talk about all our stuff and get Ricky out and dust him off a little bit. That's always fun. Anyway, what I was talking about, hi, uh, what I was talking about, that's Mara. What up, Mara? Are you still in Las Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. My buddy was talking about this morning that he didn't want to lie and cheat on his logs because he just didn't want to do it. He thought he'd been trucking long enough that so I can't tell you why. You can call me later and tell me with no one without nobody around. Anyway, he was talking about he didn't want to lie and cheat on his logs, and he liked to keep all of everything legal, and he wanted to be paid for what he did. And he was not happy with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. He was not happy with all these rules and regulations and all that stuff. And I agreed with him about all that. And I support him 100% because he is my brother. And I mean that, and I mean that with my heart. So, the thing is, the people on this page, I started talking last week. I'm not talking to new people starting out in the business. That's not who's on this page. I'm not talking to, people. It's not a lie if you believe it hard enough. We're not talking to young guys starting up in the business. He said, I think we just don't get those people on this page, which is okay. I mean, I don't think it would hurt them to join up and listen in. When we got people like Jess and Deb and Joe Denny and people like that on here, talking about what they do and how they do it. I mean, you can only be around people like that, a real short period of time before you start learning stuff. And one of the things that I've always done since I was a kid, and my dad started this company, was we made a living. We made a good living, doing stuff that the big companies won't do or can't do, or, I say won't do. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. The business I'm in, the big companies have all tried it. They've all tried it. And the first time a big company jumped in, going to try it out, I thought, oh God, here it comes. Here you go. We're going to have all this big company shit in here and all this stuff. And they didn't last 6 months. The drivers wouldn't do it. They didn't want to do it. They couldn't get whatever big number that computer spits out. They couldn't make enough money with the truck in a day to do it. But I do. I mean, I always have. So when I say we make stuff work, that's what I mean. We make stuff work. We live in the gray areas. Unless you're leased on to one of these big companies, and they do everything for you. They give you your freight, they book it for you, they schedule it for you, they do all that stuff. They pay for your fuel for you, and they take it back out, but they pay for your fuel, and they pay for, all this other stuff that ordinarily you have to do. Unless you're leased on to a company like that and you're doing that, if you're out there working and you're doing what you do, plain and simple, I mean, the plainest way I know of to put it is we make shit work. We do shit other people can't do. And I like that. I always have liked that. I've never thought that these big companies with their rookie drivers, Jim, what's up, my girl? I appreciate you. You're welcome to the cabin anytime you want. It's a little quirky. Got a few little quirkies. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, what I was talking about is we make stuff happen. We do stuff other people can't do or won't do or don't know how to do. We figure it out and we go do it. I can go down the list right now of the people that are on this page right now listening to me talk. And there are some people out there doing stuff that other people can't do. Okay? Mara just came off a tour. She was on a tour, a rock and roll tour. There are a lot of places that she went to, a lot of places that she got into that you don't want to send an inexperienced truck driver into. You just don't want to do that. She hauled a lot of loads that you don't want to put on a person with little or no experience. I watched Joe Denny on Facebook, and most of the time in the mornings he gets up and says, hello, how you doing? I hope everybody's doing good. And he goes out and does something that most truck drivers that I would say the vast majority can't do. Whether he's hauling a reefer or whether he's hauling equipment or whether he's hauling rocks or whether he's hauling all these different things, any given one of those things is something these rookie guys can't do. They don't know how to do. And if they did try to do it, they would be unsafe. And that's putting it nicely. I'm being nice about that. So the reason I bring that up, everybody knows that. Everybody here on this page knows that. Okay? We know that we do shit other people can't do. The reason I bring that up is for two reasons. One, a lot of these new rules and regulations they're putting out don't apply to us. One size does not fit all. Okay? And I don't know of anybody in Washington that understands that. They put out these rules, they put out these and I was telling my friend today that was making his speech about, all this stuff. I said, these people don't have a clue about what we do, not a clue. And we're the guys off over here in the gray areas making shit work. You think about automated trucks, you think about all these rules and regulations, ELDs, all this stuff. And you think about that stuff, and it doesn't apply to very many of us. We can't get our job done when we're strapped with regulations that are designed to apply to, a 24-year-old truck driver that's never been anywhere, never done anything. This shirt I got on, Team Husky, I don't know if Jennifer or Jason are on here tonight. I hadn't seen either one. They were hauling They were hauling, when I met them, they were hauling vans and they had their own accounts and they were doing this and doing that. And they were getting busier and they were growing and growing. When the market changed and the spot market went to hell, they weren't really doing very much spot market freight, but still they had to depend on some of it to get the truck back, like Deb Dingo and like some other people do. They have accounts, they have their own business, but they use the spot market to get the truck back into position to haul another customer load. Okay. When that started happening, they weren't happy with their overall rate per mile. So they switched back to what Jason had been doing several years ago. They switched back to hauling cattle, sold off all their dry vans. I don't know if they still got any, but they got some for sale if anybody wants one. Nice ones, real nice ones. Sold their dry vans and they went back to hauling cattle. They trained the owner operators that were currently leased to them. They trained them. Jason took them out in the truck with him and taught them how to haul cattle. And they're doing very, very well, and they're very, very happy to do it. You know, if you're, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but if you're one of these people that thinks this industry owes you a living or is going to give you a living, and that you can just drop in on the spot market and make a living, you're probably not going to be here very long. You're probably not going to be around. You know, I know some people that do, not very many, but that's what we were talking about this morning. And that's what kind of triggered me, you know, to want to talk about this tonight was that, you know, a lot of this stuff doesn't apply to us. Now, my buddy Todd and a bunch of them are doing their 10-4 DC thing this week, and they love it. And they're very proud of it. And they're in there, I forget why, it's a 4th or 5th year, got to be able to pivot with little to no notice. Yeah, got to be flexible or you're not going to be here. But they're doing their thing up in DC, you know, and they invited me to go, and I appreciate that. I do. But the last time I watched that or kind of paid much attention to that, there was a guy there, and all he talked about the whole time they were there was broker transparency, broker transparency, broker transparency, and that got 100% of the media's attention, and that got 100% of the few people from the FMSCA and the other DOT that showed up. That got 100% of their attention, and that was all they heard. Well, if you've ever heard me or talked to me, I think broker transparency is bullshit. I've been a broker for 30 years. I've never forced anybody to haul a load, and I've never forced anybody to take a rate I offered them. Never have. Not one time. So what difference does it make? Anyway, I'm not going to get back into that tonight. I think it's bullshit, and I think people that have turned that into their lifelong fight. Well, this industry won't survive until we get broker transparency. This is a bitch that wants me to go out and find their loads, get a customer, because they can't or don't know how or won't or whatever. They want me to go get their loads for them. They want me to schedule those loads for them, okay, that I've worked to get from these customers. Then they want me to give it to them for everything I've got in it, and then some if I'm willing to, give it to them. And they want me to schedule their pickup, schedule their delivery. And then when they get there and deliver, they want me to pay them instantly. Whether I get paid in 30 days or 45 days or not, they want their money right now. So they want me to get their freight, schedule their freight, dispatch their freight, and pay for and finance their fucking company for them. And they want me to do it for nothing. And they think that's what it should be required, and that's what saves the industry. You know, when I see these people on social media, you know, bitching about brokers, I've said the same thing for years and years. I'll say it again. If you don't like brokers, don't use them. That's pretty simple, isn't it? That's pretty simple. If you go to a restaurant and you don't like the food, don't go back. Don't go back. Okay? If you go into a store and you don't like what they're selling or you don't like the people that work there, don't go back. Broker transparency is French for I don't know what I'm doing and need someone to do it for me. Exactly. And these are the same people. These are the same people that are crying they want their freedom. We want to be free. Well, that's called free market business. That's what it's called. And, my friend Trucker G says it, and he says it every day, and he's 100% right. The problem with it is not the rates. The problem with it is not the brokers. The problem is that there are people out there that will haul that shit for nothing. Trust me, when Walmart gets tennis shoes in there, they mark those tennis shoes at $36. And if you're willing to go in there and pay $36 for those tennis shoes, they will let you do that. They will let you do that. Period. If you don't buy any of those tennis shoes in about 2 weeks, they mark them down to $24. And if you still don't buy any of those tennis shoes in a couple more weeks, they mark them down to $12. And then you can go in there and buy those same tennis shoes for $12. Now, that's up to you whether you do it or not. But a lot of people pay $36. A lot of people, these assholes out there, a lot of people out there will haul freight for $1.25. They will. They will. And then when you say something about, hey, you're hurting the industry, you're hurting the business, their response is, you mind your business and I'll mind mine. It's none of your business what I haul freight for. They don't care. They don't care. The spot market is very flawed. Very, very flawed. And I agree with that 100%. Is it the broker's fault? No. No. That's stupid. That's childish shit. Childish thinking. But we make shit work. We get out there and we make shit work. Ricky, my friend Ricky, I was up at the shop today, hanging out at the shop, went hang out with Jess Graham and went to lunch and stuff and had fun. We had some fun. Ricky makes shit work all the time. If there's something broke on a truck, he pulls it in there and he fixes it. He makes it work. He hauls freight that other people can't haul. He delivers where other people won't go or can't go. And for that, he charges money. He charges good but fair money for doing it. And that's where we are. And that's a good place. I like it. I like it so much better than, being with some mega fleet and having, 38 rules and, that you go by every day, all day, and driving what basically is a self-driving truck. I mean, think about it. All you got to do with those trucks anymore is steer them. They tell you how fast to go, how fast not to go. They tell you, the little e-log tells you when to go, when not to go. I mean, really and truly with those trucks, you don't really have to do much but steer them anymore. And it's getting to where now, you probably a couple more years, probably don't even have to do that. I don't want to be in that business. I don't want to be that guy. I've never have. I'm not going to be. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm really, really proud of the people on this page. I'm really, really proud of what we do. I'm really, really proud of the fact that we do shit that other people can't do. That, to me, is the backbone of this country. That, to me, is a hell of a lot more important than picking up a load at Procter & Gamble and taking it to fucking Publix. It just is. And I'm not down on anybody that hauls Procter & Gamble to Publix. I mean, good for you. But to me, what's up, hero? What's up, my brother? I'm waiting to see at some point, I'm going to have to take the Sparky Anderson psychological truck driver examination just to see if I can pass. I didn't even know there was one until I heard about it last week. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to explain it. Sparky. I'll tell on Sparky a little bit. Sparky hauls food. Sparky picks up loads, trailer loads of food, and he takes it to various places. And he has to do things there, like sometimes he has to unload that food, put it on the back of the trailer, unload it, take it to people. If he wants to keep going and make it to his next drop, sometimes it's a lot faster if he just does that shit himself and does it. How many truck drivers do you think working for Swift will do that? That's how many. So I really like the stuff that Sparky delivers, so I really appreciate him doing that. And for that work, he charges money. We can get good rates if brokers if you are not a transactional truck. Yeah. I've never forced, I've been doing this for 30 years. My son actually learned it before I did and got me into it. I was just, regular trucking guy. He got me into it. But in all that time that we've been doing this, there has never been a single time that I ever called up a truck driver and said, I got this load going to New York City with 8 drops on it. I'm paying $3 a mile. And you will, by God, haul it. I've never done that. I would like to. Now, I would like to have 1 week. You ever seen that movie, The Purge? That's when they just shoot the fuck out of everybody. They just shoot. For one night, they can do whatever they want to do. The gloves are off. There's no rules. There's no laws. You just do whatever you want to do. And I was talking to my lawyer today, and he was telling me, well, Frank, sometimes there's people out there in the world need killing. And we were talking about a different thing. And I said, I'm down with that. I get that. Well, I would like to have it so that for 1 week, the brokers ran the show. We made the rates. We told everybody what the rates are. We made the appointments. We made the deliveries. We did all that stuff. And we were given, like when I first started, we were given 30 days to pay, just like our customers do. In fact, I've only got one customer that pays in 30 days. The rest of them, it takes about 42 to 45 for me to get my money. But every time I broker a load, that guy wants to get paid the minute he gets empty, and he demands it, and he thinks he deserves it. And I'll tell you right now, if they pass that law about transparency, I'm going to add my cost in there because that's transparent. I want that to be transparent. Michelle say, I went to the DOT. They didn't know about it and told me to go to FMCSA. Have appointment on Friday. We'll let you know what I find out. Cool. Yeah. Let us all know. Let everybody know. Let everybody. But these people crying about this shit, go get your own freight. I did. I got my own customer. I did. I got on an airplane. I went out there and I sat down, and it took me about a year of making trips out there, doing rates. I got a load out of New Mexico pumpkins that I'm taking to Miami, Florida church. Good luck. Pay me now, motherfucker. That's right. Get in, do what I do. Do what I do. Get on an airplane, go out there and sit down in front of these people and get yourself a customer. When you do, you better be prepared to do rates. Me and Jess were talking about that today. You better be prepared to do your rates. You better be prepared to tell them that you can give them 100% service, because that's what they expect, period. You better be able to do that. And you better be able to service their product. You better be able to provide the service that they're paying for. If you can't, you won't have that customer. Then you'll go out there and you'll call a broker. You'll call a broker. I see you got a load going from Nashville, Tennessee to Chicago. Yes, I do. It's one pickup, one drop. First come, first serve at the pickup. First come, first serve at the delivery. They'd like to have it sometime tomorrow if you can get there. They don't close till 4 o'clock. They'll take you up till 3, and I'll pay you $1,000. Oh, I can't do it for that. What do you need? See, that's how the conversation goes. It's never any other way. What do you need? What do you have to do it? Tell me. I don't know. Yeah, and enough volume. Exactly. So all these people sitting out there complaining and bitching about brokers, I'm going to bet you, I'll happy to bet you, Michelle and Candace, if you're on here, I'm happy to bet you lunch at the McDonald's of your choice that 99% of these people crying about transparency don't have any idea how it works. They really don't know very much about anything. A lot of them aren't even very good truck drivers. They don't even know anything about their trucks. They don't, they just don't, they don't know. I'm just saying. So we make shit work. I go out and get my customers, then I move their freight for them. I haul their freight for them. I pick it up on time and deliver it on time. I try not to tear it up between A and B, and I bill them, and they pay me. And I do it on 2-year contracts. I have some other customers that are not dedicated, that are not on 2-year contracts, but I have dedicated haulers, dedicated carriers that haul that for me too, because I don't like I don't mind brokers. I just think they are suppressing rates. How can they possibly suppress your rate? Explain that to me. I don't understand it. How, Nicholas, how can they possibly suppress your rate? How? I don't get it. Explain that. How can they do that? How can they suppress your rate? Which one? Name the broker that has forced you to haul a load for less money than you think you should have. Hey, Betty, what's up, my girl? My buddy needed a driver and I needed the money, and Melissa didn't have the freight. So, doing what I needed to do to make it work while I took a month vacation. Good. Cool. Nicholas, explain to me how the broker suppresses your rate. Talk me through that. I don't get it. When I go into bid rates on a customer, I realize a couple of things. One, I have to be competitive with the other people, my competitors. I have to compete with them in order to get any of those loads. I've been in the business long enough that I pretty much know what the rates are. I pretty much know what we're shooting on. They are suppressing rates nationally. How are they doing that? How has any broker affected your rates? Explain that to me. You can't explain it. You've got it in your head that it's the broker's fault. You're fucking wrong. And I'm glad to. They just hang up when you tell them you need 250. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is it? Because they're moving those loads. Whose fault is it? Are you just dealing on the load boards? Yeah. To Michael's point, do you have a relationship with these brokers, or are you just picking shit off the load board and calling them up and expecting some guy you've never talked to before to pay you the same rate? He pays people that haul for him every day. They're not gonna do that. It's a business. That's how it works. Look at the spot market. I look at the spot market every day. I look at it every day. But you think it's the broker's fault that the rates are suppressed? Brokers are keeping 75%. Shit. If I was keeping 75%, me and you wouldn't be talking about trucking. I'd be sitting on an island somewhere sipping tequila laughing. I have never made 75. That's good. That's funny. The spot market is suppressed. It's the fucking spot market. Get it? Do you get it? You get that? These are loads. Contract rates are way up. My rates have been fine. My rates have been fine for years. I mean, pre-COVID, through all the way through COVID, my rate stayed the same. In fact, I take a rate increase pretty much every contract year. Have to. The reason that I have to is my customer has a shitty fuel surcharge program. My customers so I have to charge them more on their rates to make up for the fuel surcharge they don't pay me. So I do that to keep my carriers fed, to keep them happy. My contract rates are fine because the SHMO will do it. Will take it for nothing. And that's whose fault? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Have you ever walked in a shoe store and picked out a pair of work boots? You want to go trucking. Picked them up and tried them on, walk around a little bit, put them back in the box, take them up to the counter and go, I see you want $45 for these boots. And they go, yeah, that's right. They're $45. And you go, well, that's bullshit. These are really nice boots. I'm going to give you 60. You ever done that? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Brokers are suppressing the rates. Give me a fucking break. We don't set the rates. We never have. We bid rates to customers so that they'll give us freight. I'm never the first call guy. I'm never the cheap guy. And I hear about it all day, every day. Well, if you drop your rates 8 cents, you get the first call. I don't want the first call. I want them to call people and have them turn it down and then call me and pay my rate. That's the same thing as when I was doing government freight. I used to hear that all day, every day from FEMA. Well, Jesus, Frank, if you just drop your rates about 32 cents a mile, you'd be getting all of our loads. I don't want all of your loads. I don't want to haul cheap shit. I don't do it because they can. Fuck. Because they can. If you woke up this morning thinking that brokers were in business to support you, you're wrong. They're in business for the exact same reason you are, to make money. And they're going to. They're going to make money or they close up. They're going to do that. If you have a relationship with them, 9 out of 10 of them will tell you what the rates are. I do. I do it all day, every day. I do it all the time. All the time. But, I get the contracts. I've had them for 22 years. And the guys that haul for me usually don't haul for anybody else. It's not the brokers, it's the shippers. A lot of them just suck. Yeah, I'm not having any trouble with my shippers either. They want trucks. Most of my shippers are looking for trucks all the time. All the time. They're looking for trucks. And they would really, really like it if I would go get more trucks and just settle in and haul all their shit, because then they don't want to mess with it. And see, here's the reason why. One of my customers makes foam, big sheets of foam. They sound like a crybaby. Most of them don't have a clue. They believe it's the broker's fault, and transparency after the fact is going to save trucking. Yeah, that's bullshit. Because they can. Same reason spot market trucks were getting $6 a mile 3 years ago. Those brokers don't want relationships. Well, I can't speak for all of them. I'm sure there are some out there that don't. I'm sure there are some guys out there that if you'll haul it for $1.25, they will let you. They want the cheapest truck. Yeah. Yeah. Shippers do too. They want the cheapest guy. That's how it works. When you submit rates to a shipper, that's how it works. If you drop your rates by 12 cents, you'd get all my loads. For 12 cents less a mile, I don't want all your loads. Give it to that guy. Because those people don't cover their loads. They don't pick them up on time. So by the time it gets to me and I charge 18, 20 cents more for the loads, they got to do that to get their shit moved. There are also some bad carriers. It's not my fault. It's not the broker's fault. And if you think it is, number one, the freight that you see on the spot market is shit. It's leftover shit that nobody wants. That's what it is. It's shit that Schneider won't haul, JB won't haul, Swift won't haul. They don't want it. They already turned it down. Their reject and Jess and I were talking about this today at lunch. Their reject rate is higher than their acceptance rate. When they get these loads or tendered to them over the internet, they just turn them down. If they get turned down enough, okay, then what happens is some broker gets them and they stick them on DAT. I've been saying this for years, Nicholas, and everybody else. I'm not just going to pick on you just because you're wrong about one thing, which, by the way, I think you are, and I'm going to stick with that. But I've never ever told a truck how much to haul a load for. I never have. I've been doing this for years and years. I just raised my shipper by 13.57% across the board. In the letter, I explained that our cost for everything is up, and I'm still hauling their loads because they need you. And you do a great fucking job, and you've got a great relationship. Yes. But these are people, and Nicholas is evidently one of them, that thinks they're supposed to get up in the morning and turn on DAT and haul shit leftover freight that everybody else has already turned down and nobody wants. And he thinks he's supposed to get a $6 a mile like they were doing when there were 100 ships sitting offshore and they couldn't get that product off the boats and onto the docks and onto the trucks fast enough. Okay, when that was going on, that had a ripple effect through the whole industry. And yeah, back then you could probably pretty much name your rate per mile. But if you think for a minute it was like that prior to that, you have a really short memory. Really short. 2006 was a glut. People were hauling shit in 2006 for 70, 80 cents a mile. A mile. You have to have your own customers or it's not going to work. Deb Dingo said that. Deb Dingo is my fucking highway hero. Yeah, you're exactly right. If you think you can get up and turn on DAT and you force the brokers to pay you more money, you've lost your mind. Well, what are you saying? The fuck are you saying? You started out by saying brokers are suppressing rates nationwide. You did say that. It's in black and white. It's right up there in the corner if somebody wants to look at it. Basically, I think you need to look in the mirror. Go get your own freight. You don't like brokers and you're mad at them, go get your own freight. It's real simple. And if you start out by saying, well, I've only got one truck, so I can't go get a customer. Be very careful because Deb Dingo is sitting on here typing away. She has 3 customers and 1 truck. And she just typed in there that she raised her rates by 13.57% across the board. And the customer said, hey, I understand. We need you. She just did that. Deb has 1 truck. She's got 1 truck. So, I mean, you can make up all the excuses that you hear on social media. Just don't bring them here because I will shoot the fuck out of them. And there's people on this page that know the difference. Jess Graham knows the difference. Joe Denny knows the difference. Sparky Anderson knows the difference. I'll bet you $1 million right now that Sparky Anderson is not the cheapest hauler that his customer has. In fact, if I had to bet, I would bet you he's one of the most expensive. And they still want him to go get more trucks and haul more freight every day. That's how the industry works. I was in Iraq in 2006, so I could care less. I'm just telling you how the industry works. I thought you cared. Silly fucking me. You're wrong about brokers suppressing rates. You're completely wrong. If you don't want to haul it, don't haul it. You don't have to. You do not have to. There's no law, rule, regulation, nothing out there. Nothing out there to say that you absolutely must haul broker freight for a certain rate. There's nothing out there that says that. People like you want the government to tell me how much to pay you, but you can't do that negotiation yourself. Evidently. Other people are, but evidently. I know people that haul broker freight all day, every day, and they're doing pretty well. Several of them. There's a couple on this page right now. Spot freight shouldn't be so much lower than contracted rates. That's your biggest problem. You're willfully ignorant of industry cycles. Spot market freight shouldn't be so much lower than contracted rates. What do you think the spot market is? Where do you think those loads come from? Do you think that somebody do you think that somebody is sitting right now at US Steel going, all right, we're going to put all these loads right here on all these people over here, and the rest of them we're going to put there on the spot market, and there's all different. You think there's people actually doing that? They're not. They're not doing that. I could care less what you get. I care what I get. Again, I've never forced a truck to haul a load. I wish I could. I've never done that. Good night, Michelle. Thank you for coming. I mean that. I just, I see comments like that. I see people with that attitude. And so what's your next move? If you get broker transparency, it's already been written that if the brokers have to give you a document, call it a rate confirmation or whatever, showing what they billed the shipper and how much they're paying you and the difference in those two. If that happens, it's already been written that the brokers can include their cost in that. I think when that happens, you're going to be pretty surprised. I'll give you, for instance, and I wouldn't haul a load for them if they're only motherfuckers in the world that had a load of freight. TQL. They got a great big building in Cincinnati, Ohio. Great big Great big building. Lots of people work in that building. It's a very expensive piece of property. And it probably costs them about $1 million a day just to turn the lights on in that son of a bitch. Cleaning it up, doing the maintenance, doing all this, doing all that. All these computers they got, all these phones, all these internet connections, all these different, programs that they subscribe to and deal with all day, every day. They got all these salaries, and then they got support staff to keep the building clean and the other stuff going. They got computer people working there to keep their computers up and running. They got a lot of stuff. And some smaller brokers like me, okay, I don't have that much overhead. I do have a building here in Nashville. I own it. Um, you know, we've got a staff there. Most of the people that have been with me for a long, long time. I have computers. I have subscriptions. I have internet. I have lights to keep on. I got to do building maintenance. That's several $1,000s a year. I've got salaries to pay. And then we have the office down in Florida. We have 11 people there. We partner with another company down there. So we only have to pay part of the maintenance and part of this and that. But we still have a pretty significant overhead down there. And we'll pay our people very well. That's a big, big part of it too. And then, through the history of my company, I and my son have been primarily our biggest salespeople. We travel out to meet with the customer. Frank just got back from meeting with a customer, and he's got to go again week after next. So, Deb says, I wasn't available for one of my customer loads last week, so she gave it to her backup broker. I saw it posted on DAT and called the broker. My rate for that load was $1,700. The broker was standing firm at $1,350. Yeah. Trying to get $230 a mile is like pulling teeth right now. Yeah, but because people are hauling it cheaper. Because there are people out there doing it. That's your enemy, not the guy with the freight. Anyway, I've got a lot of overhead. And like I said a while ago, if people want me to keep a customer, keep them happy, get all the loads, work with these customers, keep them happy, keep everything going, get all these loads, everybody's going to make a profit. Yeah. Because they sit there and say, I haul it for this every day. Because they probably do. They probably do. Most of these bigger brokers, the big box brokers, it's right there on these kids that work the desk and answer the phone. Most of these kids have a high and a low on the load. They know how much they can give you and how little they can give you. And it's based on what they move the load. It's based on a 30-day history of the load. That's how it works. That's how it works. I can haul it cheaper as well, but don't like to. I get it. I get it. But volumes are still down. If you try getting a parking place in a truck stop after about 3:30 in the afternoon, my volumes aren't down. My volumes are way up. Way up. My biggest customer calls me every day. Frank, I have got to have some more trucks. Every day. My volumes are way up. I don't know where people are getting this information. I don't know where you're getting it. I don't know where all this stuff. There's a truck driver shortage. Try to get a parking place in a truck stop after about 3:00 and 4:00 in the afternoon. Have you tried that? Have you tried getting fuel at 7:00 in the morning? You tried that? You think there's a shortage out there? Every region is different. Always has been. I don't see that changing. It's always been different. Northeast, southeast, yeah, it's all different. West Coast. In the West Coast and the valley down in California, down in Texas, and the middle lower part of Florida have a unique thing that happens every year for several months. It's called produce season. That alone pulls thousands and thousands and thousands of trucks out of the dry freight mix. They don't do it during those times. So everything changes during produce season. There ain't no damn truck driver shortage. No, there ain't. Some customers still have plenty of freight, but over 100 plus customers, volume are down. Okay, if you say so. Mine aren't. They haven't been all year. They weren't last year. Volumes stayed the same or gone up. The only time we had a hit in volume was when Trump was monkeying around with the tariffs, and we had to shut down running to Canada for a while. That was a mess for about 6 months. It took about 6 months to get through, that whole cycle. Yeah, they go back to dry van, or they turn the reefer off and they haul dry freight. This industry constantly moves. And most people don't know this, but in July, the automakers up in Detroit and the subsidy companies that make parts for the automakers pretty much all go on vacation in July for about 2 to 3 weeks. So that industry puts down. You might not think so, but it does. It displaces between 150 and 200,000 trucks when that happens. So in order to keep guys moving and just to keep their drivers from jumping ship and going somewhere else and quitting, these guys for that 2 or 3 or 4 week period, it moves around just a little bit. They book broker freight and they'll haul it for nothing. They don't care. They're just trying to keep the driver working so they can get back to hauling their automotive freight. There's some other industries that do the same thing. And those guys will haul freight for nothing. I think the market will change in the second quarter next year. Okay, good. Mine probably won't, but if you're talking about the spot market, if you're doing it, I don't want to talk about the spot market anymore. Educate yourself. Spot market freight is leftover shit that nobody wanted to haul. Start there. Understand that. John Deere does that twice a year. Yeah. Start by understanding that spot market freight is shit that the other carriers turned down, and it wound up at some broker's office. Understand that. Once you do, it'll help your thinking quite a bit. Deb Dingo just gave you an example of a load that she charges $1,700 for, and a broker was selling it for $1,350. Get it? Do you understand? You get that? But if Deb was there, she'd have picked up that load, and she'd have hauled that load, and she'd have charged $1,700. I have a broker I'm working with to haul John Deere. Yes, it's good freight. They're a good company. Yeah, they pay well. So the broker freight that you see on the spot market is shit. There's another reason for that. Plan a week in advance every week. Yes, there's another reason for that it's shit freight, is because most brokers, like my son, most brokers have relationships with carriers. So when Frank gets all his loads on Friday for next week, he calls his carriers on the phone. We don't use DAT. And I think you'll find, like Jess Graham, I think you'll find that almost all the brokers out there are the same way. They rely on their homeboys, the people they have a relationship with, the people that they work with, the people they do business with. They rely on those people to haul their freight. And if anything is left over, get my wording here, left over, and they can't get it covered with their homeboys, they stick it on DAT and see what they can do. That's what they do. I don't want to do that with my customers' freight because I don't want people I don't know hauling my freight. I don't trust them to take good care of my customer. So I try not to ever use them. And every time we do, which is hardly ever, anytime we ever do, I lay awake at night all night going, God damn, I hope that guy didn't piss my customer off. I don't know them. I like giving the freight to people I know. I like giving the freight to people that I work with all the time. I know what their service is going to be. We already know what the rates are. We determined that a long time ago. We don't even have to talk about it. I just send them a rate confirmation, and we're good to go. They know when to pick up, how to pick up. They know who to talk to on the dock. When they get the load on, they know how to secure it. They know how to get from where they pick it up to where they deliver. They know when to be there. They know the people there. They back into the dock. They get unloaded, and everybody's fucking happy. It's called relationships. We have that. I know I need to get off the spot market. Yes, you do. Thank God. Finally got to that. Yes, get off it. I don't care what the other talking heads on Facebook tell you, the dingleberries of the world, rate per mile dickheads. I don't care what they tell you. That asshole's got one truck. He's never had more than one truck in his fucking life. Give me a break. Why would I want to use that when I can cover my loads in a tenth the time it takes to utilize my relationships? You don't. We don't. I don't want to use that. I just said that. I don't want carriers that I don't know hauling freight for my customers. I don't want them. I don't want them around. I don't want them pissing in the parking lot, leaving piss bottles all over the place. I don't want them doing that. I don't want them walking on the dock and telling one of the dock workers, "You only got me later than 15 minutes, you kiss my." I don't want any of that. I don't want those people going to my customer. I don't want that. So I don't use DAT. Not gonna. Doesn't even have one. The freight on DAT is shit. It's leftover shit. You can bet if I put it on there, that's some leftover shit. And I'm like everybody else. I'm no different than anybody else. You know, you've got this idea that there's some great conspiracy out there of people that have suppressed your rates. It's always been that way. They only had to pay more when they had 100 fucking ships sitting offshore. They only had to do it. In 2006 and 2007, people were hauling freight for 70 cents a fucking mile out there because the broker's going to keep pushing and keep pushing. It's what they do. I don't know what to tell you. Deb Dingo says your local chamber of commerce is a great resource. You will learn new businesses in your area. They often have networking opportunities. There is a glass company in my area that's expanding their footprint, and they're my next target for my Conestoga. Cool. I'm working with this broker that moves John Deere freight, so I'm hoping we can build something regular. And you will if you go and do a good job for them, because believe me when I tell you. Now, here's the flip side, Nicholas, if you're still here. Here's the flip side. Without my carriers that work for me, I'm out of business. I need them. I like them. I want them. We work together. I've got one carrier that's been with me now 21 years. 21 years. He doesn't haul for anybody but me. Ever. He has 23 trucks. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. I need that guy. I've eaten breakfast in his home. He's eaten breakfast in my home. I've watched his kids grow up. He's watched my kids grow up. When we first started working together, Frank was in junior high school. Now he works with Frank all day, every day. All day, every day. Calls him every morning. Good morning, Frank. How are you? Yeah. It's called relationships. Basically, when it comes to that guy, I'm just his sales guy. You know, we schedule the loads and stuff, and you know, our girls in our office do that. They schedule all the pickups and deliveries and stuff. But when it comes to my relationship with him, I'm his sales guy. We sit down every year in October, November. We just did it, and come up with all our rates. Hi, Betty Lundeen. Are you telling me hi, Betty? Are you drinking? You've already told me hi once. Did you know that? Have you been drinking? If you're drinking, you say that. Raise your hand. Anyway, we sit down every year and we go through our rates and we plan everything for our next contract. And we talk about what we need. If we've got some bad locations, good paying bills, you're not sharing, Betty. You're not sharing. You know what they say about people that don't share. Anyway, we go out there, we sit down, we go over our rates for next year. If we got problems, like if we're having some problems at certain locations or something like that, we get that worked out. You know, we deal with that. We hang around and visit. Like I said, we've been working together for 21 years. I will tell you this. You can believe it or not, because I don't give a fuck. I can share. I know you had surgery. I remember. Anyway, I will tell you this. Every year when we sit down and go over rates, he pulls me back. Yes, he does. He pulls me back. I'll say, I don't know, brother. I think we ought to go for 7% this year. Costs are up, everything's up, insurance is up. And we go, no, 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 no. We can't go for 7%. If we do that, they'll look for somebody else to haul it. Just go ahead with 4% and we'll be good. We'll be good with that. He does that every year. Every year he pulls me back. He knows to the penny what I charge the customer because he and I sit down together and put it all together. That's called a relationship. But if you get a guy on the phone from the DAT board, he's sitting there dealing all the cards, and no, you don't have a relationship with this guy. And you're sitting there thinking, these brokers are suppressing the rates. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, are you serious today? They're suppressing the rates. There's a conspiracy out there that all the brokers are suppressing the rates. Rates are cyclical. They do this based on the economy, based on the time of year, based on a whole lot of things. There are not 100 ships sitting offshore in Los Angeles right now waiting to get unloaded. They're all caught up. It's a normal flow. They're all caught up. Rates didn't go crazy. $6. I want $6 a mile. Well, fuck, travel back in time, because the only time that's going to happen is when something catastrophic happens to the industry to cause that. But as soon as it corrects itself, which it always does, rates go back to normal. What you're seeing now is normal. You just don't like it. It's normal for the spot market. It's shit, but it's normal. They don't give a fuck. They don't. But what you're seeing now, you're seeing rates the way they were before there were 100 fucking ships sitting offshore. And Los Angeles was one thing. There were hundreds of ships sitting offshore on the East Coast at the same time. At the same time. It's a conspiracy. Oh God. It's a conspiracy. It's called fluctuations in the market. So if these dumbass crybaby motherfuckers get what they want and they get broker transparency, number one, they're going to get my cost in there because by God, I got them and I'm going to show them to them. Okay. They're going to get my cost in there along with that. And I'm going to get my profit margin anyway, or fuck you. I won't do it. I won't give you the load. And I don't care whether you take it or not. Somebody will. As proven by the fact that there are people out there right now hauling freight for less than half of what I pay my contract carriers. I can prove it. I can damn sure prove it and will. But the brokers are suppressing the rates. The brokers are easy targets for those that won't do the work themselves. I'm going to say it one more time. If you don't like them, if you don't trust brokers and you don't like them, don't use them. Savannah Port was backed up. So was Miami. So was Jacksonville. So was Mississippi. They all were. They were all backed up. All the way up and down the East Coast, and the whole West Coast was backed up. Backed up. And they had to do something to get that freight out of there. So they were paying big money, and they were fighting over those trucks. Same trucks are there now. But, 2 years ago, they were fighting for them. Now they're not. Now they're not. That's the problem. What's the problem? What's the problem? You don't like brokers, don't use them. Deb Dingo only uses them to get her truck back to her regular customers. It's the only time she uses them. And she gets enough of a rate, which is the way it's supposed to be done. She gets enough of a rate out of a regular customer that if she has to haul a cheaper load coming back, she still makes her profit on the round trip. That's how this industry works. I don't know if you know that or not, because evidently you don't, because brokers are suppressing the rates. Oh, bitch, please. Oh, God. God, it's already been an hour. And I got off on brokers and rates. Anyway, careful what you wish for, because now picture this. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to tell everybody I love you and good night. Picture this. If truck drivers get their way and there's broker transparency, funny how nobody had a problem with brokers when the carriers were gouging them through the pandemic. Got to go, Debbie, come and see me. I know where you're at. Come and see me. But let's say they get what they want and they get transparency. Guess what? Guess what we're going to do? The brokers, us brokers. We're going to want transparency from you too. How's that? I mean, that's fair, isn't it? Don't you think so? If I have to be transparent with my rates, shouldn't you be transparent with your costs? Don't you think? I mean, that's fair, don't you think? How much does it cost you to operate that truck? Because what it's going to come to is transparency is not going to be good enough. The next step is brokers can only make 8% or 10% or whatever it is that some stupid asshole that doesn't have enough fucking hair on his balls to go sell his own freight wants to force me to get. We call that socialism. We don't call it free market for damn sure. That's called socialism. They're going to want to pigeonhole meter rates. So if they can pigeonhole meter rates, why can't I pigeonhole you? Why can't I take a look at your cost per mile sheet that you'll have to provide me? And trust me, we'll get that really fast. Why can't I look at that and go, well, I see you're operating for $1.30 a mile. Broker transparency does not guarantee I get $2.50 a mile. I guarantee you it won't. I see you're operating your truck for $1.30 a mile, and you've got me down to 8%. So I got this load going to California. I'll give you 8%. How's that? How you like that? Isn't that fair? Don't you think that if the business plan is fair for the goose, is it not fair also for the gander? Don't you think? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to force a business person, be it a broker or whatever, you want to force them to a certain margin on the freight that they put out there because you don't understand how the rates got there to begin with. You don't understand what the broker does to get the freight to start with. You have no clue. The fact that you said brokers are suppressing rates tells me that you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what they go through to get loads from customers. You have no fucking clue. So if your operation, if you can run a truck for $1.38 a mile and you pigeonhole me at 10%, shouldn't I do the same with you? Shouldn't I do the same with you? I mean, isn't that fair? Don't you think that's fair? Sure it is. Problem is, when rates are up, drivers can't shut the fuck up about how much money they're making. The market gets flooded with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has 10 days to buy a truck and throw a load to truck ratios off. Yeah, but I don't think that it is stupid. I agree with that. But I don't think there are that many people so that it affects the industry so much. Where can you only get an authority to move freight in certain areas? Yeah, that was pre deregulation. That's how it was. It was all regulated. It will never go back to that. Not in a free market economy. It won't go back to that. Now, if you want to move to China, that's how they do business there. That's exactly how they do it. Japan. Yeah. That's how they do business there. They don't compete with each other. In telling me that the brokers are making you go broke, what you're telling me is that you're not willing to go get your own freight, or you don't know how, or you don't want to. So you just want to force me to do it. You're either stupid or lazy. I don't get it. I don't understand that thinking. And I never will. Anyway, God, what a great chat. Man, you guys are great. Nicholas, I'm sorry I picked on you, but you kind of set yourself up for that. And you know I give a fuck or I wouldn't say anything to you. I wouldn't talk to you like I do. I wouldn't take you out to lunch and buy you shit. Like cars and shit. And you know this. But I really appreciate all the interaction. That's what I want this page to be like. I want us talking back and forth and getting hot and getting steamy and all that shit. It's been an hour and 3 minutes. That's long enough. That's long enough. I love you guys. I mean it. Let's take care of each other. Let's look out for. We live in these gray areas. Let's help each other. Nicholas, don't get mad. Don't get mad at what we talked about tonight. Don't get mad about it. Please learn from it. I've been doing this for 40 years. Please learn from what I'm trying to tell you. They want to regulate the market so every truck gets the same rate. Yeah, but not everybody has the same cost. And not everybody lives in the same place. And not everybody can run to and from the same places. And there are all these different variables out there that affect what a truck driver needs. I promise you that living in Nashville, Tennessee, I can do things for a rate very, very differently than a guy from Orlando, Florida, because there's no freight down there. And I can do things very differently than a guy from Chicago, Illinois, because there's a lot of freight there. You get it? You get it? This thing that we do is very fluid. I ain't mad at you. I know you're not mad at me. Anyway, it's been an hour. Thank you guys for coming. Nicholas, you come back. Well, I'll fuck with you some more next week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I might get Frank Jr. here and fuck with you. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. He's all mad and starts shaking his goddamn hands and shit. I love that shit when he's mad. Anyway, it's been an hour. I appreciate you guys. I love you and I mean it. Please keep doing what you're doing. Bring some more people to the group. I love it when it's like this. That's why I do these go live things instead of just doing pre-recorded videos and sticking them out there. I love the interaction, guys. I love it when we're sitting here talking to each other. I love it. Division is killing this country. There are people out there spending billions of dollars to keep us divided and mad and hating each other. Those people fucking suck, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent. I don't care. I don't care if you're Jewish or Christian or Buddhist or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. What we are here is trucking people. That's what matters. That's what matters. If I'm not driving, I'm here. Good deal. All right, I'm going to check out and sign off. It's been over an hour. I appreciate you guys. Bring some people to join the group. We'll have more and more fun next time. I got to go email some people. You guys have a good night. Be very, very, very safe. Jess, thank you for coming to lunch today. I'll see you guys next week, next Tuesday. We'll talk about some new shit. Thank you very much. See you.